Hello, hello. Hi, Lana. Oh, excellent. You're crafting along with me. Wonderful. I'm just pulling a couple of things out that I've got to play with while we wait and see if we've got other people joining me. I can't actually... I'll just give it a little minute. And I've got some card. Okay, so welcome. It is Naomi here, Natalie May Scrapbooking's, one of Natalie May Scrapbooking's brand ambassador. If you are watching, say hello. Let me know you can hear me. And I apologise, there's a bit of a glare down here I can see. That's all right. I'll put my hand over it. Hopefully you don't see that too much. So welcome. It's been a while since I've done a Sunday night live. My life keeps getting in the way of my crafting. Unfortunately, April is a very busy month for me in our family. So and everything seems to happen on the same night. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. Anyway, football season has started for my little boys and, well, one big boy, one little boy. And Sunday afternoons are veg time. So I've had a chance to clean up my desk and the little one's asleep. So it's time to do some crafting. So pop on and say hi. If you haven't already, or give me a thumbs up. I think you can hear me. And let's have a look at what we're going to do tonight. So I thought I would start on some of my ATCs. So if you are new here or you are new to ATCs, ATCs are artist trading cards. So we have lots of things come up about artist trading cards, and we have monthly swaps that you can join in on. We have all the instructions written down in our guides, which is on the Natalie May Scrapbooking Creative Community. And I will give you a little sneak peek of some that I have. Actually, I'll give you a sneak peek of the ones that I've done for the last swap. Actually, for previous swaps. So they're little... Hi, Michelle. Welcome. So they're little cards, and they're 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch, and there's a theme every month. So this one was a faces theme, and you can use anything you want on these ATCs. And what you would do is you would make 9, and I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. And you interpret the theme however you like. So, and I do apologize if I'm repeating what you know already, but we've got a lot of new followers and a lot of new people to Natalie May Scrapbooking, so I just want to rehash what we're doing here. So this is one that I've done for a faces theme, and there's only really a rule is that with creating is that you use one product that you've purchased from Natalie May Scrapbooking. So of course this is Natalie's cuttables herself, and I love Natalie's cuttables for ATCs. They're great. So I've got a couple of little ones here that I've done in the past. Oops, this one's upside down. And I actually thought I'd feel a little bit restricted working on such a small space from being a scrapbooker originally, but they're actually really fun to make. So it's also a really great way to use up some old scrapbooking paper. I don't know I'm sure everyone who has once upon a time done scrapbooking has heaps and heaps of paper that they haven't used, or they've made 1,000 junk journals, and there's only so many junk journals you can make. So this is another way to use up some of those old scrapbooking papers that you didn't end up using or you had extras. So here's a set that I did up on watercolor paper. I did that last night. So these are my backgrounds, and that's for a swap for the vintage theme that we've got going on this month. So now when I think of vintage, I actually Googled what vintage meant because, I mean, I always think vintage is, you know, old antique kind of stuff, but it's actually something from the past of high quality. So I was going to go with something bright, and you can interpret vintage any way you want. But what I thought I'd do tonight is do something a bit different for me. And I'm going to use, this is a Natalie May scrapbooking, as you can tell, stamp. And this is the cover that you can get. If you haven't seen these, you can buy these separately to store them in, and then you can store them upright in these DVD folders, and they already come with the label and everything there. So I love those. I wish everyone sold their stamps like that. So I'm going to do some backgrounds, and I'm going to use some Dilutions. Now, there is 20% off Dilutions until midnight tonight. So I thought I'm going to go with some bit of a different tone for me. So I'm going with a vintage old looking tone. So this is probably as much of a learning curve for me as it is for anyone else watching. So I do have Desert Sand and Vanilla Custard. I've also got some Dina Wakley Gilt, which is a bit of a bronzy yellowy gold kind of thing, and Mustard. And I also have some Lindy's Gang embossing powder, and I'm going to use that for my focal point. And I've also got some Funky Fossil Stella black tie paste, and I'm going to use, this is a stencil paste, but I'm going to use that a different way tonight too. All right, so I've got a few ideas. Now I have a piece of scrapbooking, old scrapbooking paper. I think it's a Kazaz scrapbooking paper, and it's got some clocks here and some distressed writing text on there, and you know, the yellow tone. So that's going to be what I work on. Now if you are doing your ATCs like this, when you start, you basically start on an A4 piece of paper. So an A4 piece of paper will cut 9 ATCs. If you're doing our swaps and you like to do an extra one for Nat, because Nat doesn't have time to join in as much as she'd love to, she loves, us who host will send Nat a little bundle of the ones that you send to us, and she loves receiving those. So if you do, what I've done is use offcuts to make a 10th one, or I just make a 10th one with another piece of paper. So I'm going to pop this aside for a second, because what I want to do is make some of my own what's it called, collage paper. So this is deli paper. Natalie sells this on the website. It's deli paper. It's like the paper they used to wrap sandwiches in, you know, ages and ages ago. So what I'm going to do, I've got one of my Paper Artsy stamps here, and it's one of my favorite stamps. It's the ESA 27. It's Seth Apter's. I love Seth Apter's stamps. And what I'm going to do is grab out a couple of these. This is probably one of the sets that I've nearly used all of the muck making in it. I'll just do those for now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make my own collage paper. I'm going for, you know, just random marks. Now this one's a bit big, so I will grab, no, I won't. Oh, hello, Susan. Welcome. Oh, sorry, I missed all these people saying hello to me. Hi, Taryn. Hey, Em. How you going? Woohoo. What are we planning? Oh, ATCs. We're doing some vintage ATCs tonight. So grab out your scrapbooking paper, and if you want to join along, and grab some acrylic paints and some stamps. So you could do this on a tissue paper, making your own. Tissue paper is a bit thinner. This is actually a bit thicker, and it's got two sides. So there's a shiny side and a rough side. It's not really rough, but it is rough. So you stamp onto that side, and then this one, tissue paper is a bit, oh, you want to see what all the hype is? Oh, hey, Tegan. Emma, once you start ATCs, there's no looking back. They are so fun. I think I had to pull the reins back a bit because I was getting behind in my other projects because I love them so much. So I'm just using some black archival ink, and I'm just stamping on here. in random spots. And this has been crinkled up in the back of my cupboard, but I've got a new craft cupboard now, so have my wardrobe done, and I've lost a few things and I found a few things. Yes, Tegan is she's one of our ATC addicts. I can call you that because you're my friend. And she's now helping us host because I'm having some surgery soon, and I didn't want to get caught with ATCs that I hadn't handed out to people. Yeah, I have to say these Seth Apter stamps, and this one particularly, is one of my favourite sets. I've nearly used all of the one in this stamp set. This one particularly I've used a fair bit, and I've got no rhyme or reason here. I'm just going to town with my stamping. So creating your own collage paper. Nat sells this deli paper really, like it's really cheap. It's such a good way to use your stamps in a different way as well. Now I'm just going to grab an acrylic block for this one. So this is my other favourite out of this stamp set. Probably should have juiced up my ink pad a bit more. So yeah, as I said, you can use tissue paper, but tissue paper is a bit finer. Oh yeah, love that. So good. It's a bit finer. Tissue paper will be a bit more see-through, so it depends what you're looking for. I have used tissue paper in the past, but the deli paper is really good. And if you've got a gel press, which I don't tell Nat I still don't, because I've been saying I'm going to get one for a while and I haven't. She's horrified. These are great for your gel press as well. I think that's actually what Nat got them in for. Yep, that's enough of that one. So I'm just making my own marks with this one stamp set. So if you think about it, there is, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stamps in that set. I think they retail for about $43, $44, which seems like a lot, but when you think about it, you've got 7 mark making stamps, and one of these is $11.95, I think, roughly. The little ones, which I also love, and I love this one particularly. That's why it's sitting on my desk. So the big sets, if you can find one that you're going to use majority of it, or I say if you're going to use 2/3 of it, you're laughing, because it just works out much better. All right, so I'm just adding some marks to make my own collage paper. All right. Oh, I've put a bit up here. And wipe that off. So has anyone done anything super exciting this weekend? What have we been up to? My boys have started football again. So I've literally spent all day at football today, which my little one, his first year of football, and at the first week of training, I thought, oh my God, what have we done? He's too little. He cried putting his shoes on. He cried. Ooh, I love that. Okay, that's going to go on here a few times. Yeah, he cried putting his shoes on at one training session. He cried through the session. He ended up doing it with no shoes on and still crying. And I thought, oh my God. Hi, Alison. Only a few weeks till we get to catch up. I'm super excited for the retreat. Yeah, so my little one played his first game today and he absolutely was amazing. While I was cuddling other kids because I'm the manager on the sideline, he was scoring tries and showing some of the other little kids what to do. So he was in heaven, and he's not happy he has to wait a whole 7 days before he plays his next game of footy. And then my older boy refed his first games this weekend, and I'm just grabbing another one of those mark making. Oh, can I fit? I might go these cogs out of the same set. My older boy refed his first 2 games this week as well, while the little one was playing, and then he played at 1 o'clock. So I literally spent all day at the football fields. Ooh, I like that too. Okay, this is definitely, yeah. I've got my pack. I've started my my packing list, Alison. Although I've got a big order sitting on my desk when I get there from all these new products that Nat keeps bringing in and all these sales. So I'm really loving this. How cool does it look? I'm just going to pop in a few more random of whatever these are called. They're not even, are they cogs? They look a bit more like a sphere or something. Anyway, I'm loving this stamp. I'm even going to go over the top of that one there. All right, so that is our collage paper stamped. So now that's set. I'll just show you again why I pop it all back in here. And no, I haven't worked out. I've got all my other stamps sorted, but these ones, they don't come the same way, so I haven't really worked out how to store these. But this one was ESA 27, and that's from Paper Artsy Seth Apter, who is amazing. All right, so I'm just going to give that a little hit of heat just to dry my ink, because I don't want to be putting it on anywhere. And I just need to find my heat gun. Goodness me, don't reorganise your craft room. So just a quick drying of the ink. All right, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment. So what I'm going to do, this is my piece of scrapbooking paper, and I have ripped off the side because I used it on another set of ATCs that I've done up. So I'm waste not, want not. I'm going to use the rest of it, and I think it should be okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test what it looks like. And I have done this, I haven't done this for a while, so I'm just going to rip a bit of this off. And I'm going to use some gel medium, and pop sun on and see how see-through it is. If it's as see-through as I want it, or if I want to add, like I'm trying to work out, do I want to add my paint underneath or over the top? I was thinking over the top, but we'll just see how it goes. So just like you put on your other collage paper, just gel medium underneath and over the top. Yeah, I think that's okay. All right, so now the thing with these ATCs is that it doesn't really matter where you put anything on this page. Oh, and that's rolled over. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to get a big piece of, I forgot that this was the edge of the paper and it's kind of curved over at the edge. So I've got to snip that bit off because I've now glued it together. So just so I don't have a big chunk of it, don't do this. Don't do what I do. So that's not cutting as easily as I thought. So when we cut this up, these are going to be into 9, this sheet will be into 9 pieces. So you won't see everything on every bit. So that's why this part here is going to look like an absolute hot mess, like more of a hot mess than an art journal normally looks, because it doesn't matter where you put it. The magic comes when you put them all together. So Yes. Okay. I like that. I like that I can see a little bit through. So it's still got a bit of a white tone to it, which is great. And that's just what I'm after. And I will be putting some color on it. So because I'm going to rip this up, I'm going to rip this into bigger sheets, bigger strips. I don't want, now let's not do the same thing twice, Naomi. Sorry, I'll just, exactly, Alison. It is kind of nice going to Nat's retreat and you've done some orders a while ago and you get a bit of a surprise as to what you've ordered because you can't remember. So that's kind of nice. If any of you ladies aren't going this year, look out probably closer to the end of, well, closer to July, I'd say, when Nat opens up next year's retreat, because I went last year my first time and I said to my husband, I'm going every year from now on. It's booked out. I'm booked out. So thankfully my mum can take over my football duties for me. All right, so just exactly, so it's really important that when you're doing your own collage paper that you do dry that ink, because if you put the gel medium over the top, it's just going to run. But if you're using permanent ink, once it's on there, it won't move. And how cute were those new Dilutions permanent inks? I do have them waiting for me when I get to the retreat. I'm very excited about those. All right, I think I'll put a strip here and then another one there. So one, maybe one there, and then one at the bottom. And then I've got a whole heap left over for another day. All right, so just some down here. So yeah, really cool way of using up using a different way to use some of your stamps as well. Like I literally didn't have any plan to that collage paper. I've just stamped it all on in random spots. So, and look how good it looks. I'm actually super impressed. So I think I saw Tegan do that. I'm pretty sure it was Tegan. Yeah. So yes, watch other people, get your inspiration from other ideas and then apply them to what you've got. All right, so that one's going to go here, I think. I really started this piece backwards. So anything super exciting? Come on, you gotta have something more exciting than football. I did actually my birthday last month, as I'm sure you all saw, Nat spilt the beans. And my mum bought me tickets for the Billy Elliot stage show here in Camp. Well, it was actually in Queanbeyan. I think I might put a bit in there too. Feels it's a bit bare. And if anyone has seen the Billy Elliot movie, you know that it's set in very different times to what we're in now. And there was a lot of colourful words, none of which I can repeat on here. But absolutely fantastic show. But we did have my niece with me, and there were younger kids, younger than her. So, yeah, it was quite colourful and words we don't use in our society anymore. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, very good performers, very good what am I trying to say? Very good storyline. All right, so I'm going to give that a little dry. All right, didn't take too long. Still a little bit sticky, but that's okay. Now, what I'm going to do before I put my colour on is I'm just going to use some clear gesso. Because I want to use my baby wipe to take off some colour when I put it on. So I'm just going to give this whole sheet a quick gessoing. And actually, yeah, no, I'll use my brush. So, and this will also take the shine off the gel medium. Not that it really matters, but it's more the waterproofing and the protection that I want from the from the gesso. If you don't have clear, you could use white and just do quite a light layer. But I definitely wanted to keep the colours in this, so that's why I've used some clear. And I've got a nice big blob up there. All right, and I'll give that a little hit of the heat gun as well. All right, so now let's get a bit messy with some colour. And I'm just going to grab my, no, I'm not going to grab it because I've cleaned my craft room and I have no idea where my paint palette is. So I'm going to use a brayer, and I'm just going to use my messy mat here, I think. All right, so I'm going to start with my darkest colour, which I think is Desert Sand. So as I said before, if you missed that, dilutions are on special till midnight tonight. I've started using my brayer a lot more lately. A little bit of Tracy Evans inspiration there. All right, so now I'm just going to go over here. Right, maybe go a little bit more. So I've chosen some brown, warmish, brownish colours to vintage it up. You know, the old book paper kind of thing. And I actually got an old book out to use, but I'm not sure if I'll use it yet. We'll see how we go. All right, so I'm just getting a bit of paint on. I kind of like the effect that the brayer gives. If you don't have a brayer, just pop some on with a baby wipe and then just give it a bit of a wipe off. Or you can use your palette knife to put some on. All right, then I'm going to go in with my Gilt, which is the Dina Wakley. It's like a bronze, but it's a bit yellowier. And that's that, yeah, it's definitely a bronze. All right. And that's bringing a bit more of that orange into it. It's a bit orangier. I could have used I should have used my bigger one. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm here now. Yeah, just make sure that... Yeah, Alison, have you seen Tracy Evans do some of her face YouTubes with her new stamps? She uses a brayer a lot. So I've watched her for, we all have our creative funks. Oh, hello, Miss Susan. Where are you today? What part of the world? Are we back in Australia? No, we're not back. It hasn't been 2 weeks yet. And what time is it where you are? Our little world traveller there. We're just jealous. That's why I'm saying that. So now I'm just using some mustard. Dina Wakley's mustard. I thought it had I wanted a bit of a pop, but I also, I've got a cloggage. This isn't the best to roll it on, so anyway, we'll just go with it there. Yep. Yeah, no. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, actually, day 11. You're up to day 11 in... You had 2 weeks. Tokyo, heading home tomorrow. It's 7:30 p.m. Oh, okay. I was just thinking it's about 12 days. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, now look what has happened there. And that's going to happen. This is only scrapbooking paper. I've just got a little bit of a hole. So that's fine. I'll fix that. And it's because this is, it's got a bit sticky. I think it was the Guild made the brayer a bit sticky. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a wipe. I've seen people who don't clean their brayer, and I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to do, but there's no way in hell I could not clean my brayer. It is covered in it. So I'm just going to clean it a little bit so it doesn't pull any more of my paint off. Wipe that too. And then we'll keep going. All right, I'll just use a little bit more of that mustard, and hopefully it's not the paint or the brayer, and it was just that little bit there that it didn't like. Yes, that's better. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, it's got a little bit stiff. There we go. Come on. I shouldn't have put it on this mat, damn it. All right. Okay, we've got some motion happening. What I might do... Ooh, don't like those blobs, but anyway, we'll just go with it. I think it's my mat. So don't use your messy mat or you'll end up with this mess like I've got. And what I'm going to do is grab my finger and just pop that in there to cover that up. It's not going to matter. As I said, this is going to get cut into 1,000 little pieces. And this is just laying our base for our ATCs. don't use your messy mat because clearly that's not working. So the deli paper is, I can still see all my deli paper marks through there, and I can still see the colour of my scrapbooking page as well. So that has worked well. All right. Just going to wipe that up a bit. Sorry, girls. Technical difficulties right here. Is it actually, it's not technical because there's no technology here. I'm just going to lift this up and use my little mat down here because it's got more grip on it for this last colour. 2 days behind on photos. You'll do another photo. Ah, excellent, Susan. It looks amazing. I'm totally jealous. All right, so this one is a bit lighter and it's a creamy colour and it's called Vanilla Custard. And it literally is, yeah, that's better. It was definitely my mat. Oh, maybe it's my brayer. Anyway, so this is a little bit lighter and it's just going to add that little bit of lightness where I've got some dark bits. So as you can see, I have no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting my paint because it doesn't matter. All right, I think that is good with the brayer. I think I've got ink in the wheel of it. That's the issue. All right, let's get, right, now I'm going to grab a stencil. And I will grab a, ooh, what am I going to grab? All right, let's find a vintagey, actually, let's not try and label it. I think a Dina Wakley stencil. Yep, okay, so I've got Pointed from Dina Wakley. And the reason I wanted it is I wanted something that's got quite a bit of a gap in there. Visited Ed, the amazing Ozu washi yesterday, historical washi paper museum and shop. Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a clean baby wipe because that one is putrid. If I can get the baby wipes out, that is. Sorry, girls. All right. And what I'm going to do, and this is all just marks for my page, and that's still a little bit. Now, remember, this is scrapbooking paper. It's a bit, like, it's getting a bit floppy because it's got liquid on there, but it's okay because we're going to cut it up anyway. Sorry, drink break. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my dark colour again. This one, which was Desert Sand. And I'm going to, damn it, I need to use my brayer again. Okay, I'm going to get my bigger one because it rolls better. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that up there. I run out of space when I'm doing a live because I don't want to be too far away from you. Oh, hello, Miss Claire. Good morning, I believe. Is it for morning for you? I think it is morning for you. All right, so grabbing a bit of that, yes, it's definitely the brayer. All right, so grabbing a bit of that paint, and you're at the Dina Wakley workshops in the UK. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm about to use Dina's Pointed on here. How amazing. You're so lucky that you get that over there. Well, we did hear a little rumour that Dina might be coming to Australia, but I haven't heard if that's true. So I want to work quickly here with my paint. I want to make sure it's still wet. So I'm going to pop that over there. Watching with no sound because you're eating lunch. Okay. So you can't hear a damn thing I'm saying. Excellent. Probably the best way to be, I'd say. Everyone else can laugh at that, and Claire can't because she can't hear me. All right, so I'm just wiping a bit of that off. I'm hoping that was dark enough to give me the effect I wanted. Oh, yep. Got that in there. I don't want it to be fully dark. I want a bit of, I just want a little bit of interest. I'm just going to grab a baby wipe to sit my thing on. And I'm going to do a bit more over here with the exact same thing. Thank God that worked. Yeah, how cool. Now I'm trying to avoid that part up there where that little hole is. And what the hell? Let's just go up here as well. Just use the rest of that paint that I've got there. So I'm not covering the whole thing. And by putting it on with a brayer, it gives a different texture. But, and I have gone over there, but I'm not going to wipe off there. It gives a different texture, but it doesn't also, and you do need to move your baby wipe around when you do this. Different texture, but it doesn't completely cover that bit where I've sprayed the paint on. It's not a full effect, so I'm not getting so where this stencil is underneath. Yeah, that's nice. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, one more thing I'm going to do on this background before we move on is I'm going to add some white back into this page. So I need another stencil, and I want something that's got a bit of pattern to it. So let me have a look. I think I need some, no, not dots. I think I'm going to go with Natalie May's Numbered. So we'll grab that one. All right. And again, I'm going to use my brayer. But what I need to do is I need to get this colour off because I'm using white. Okay, so I need to make sure I have none of that colour on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp with my stencil. You've probably seen me do this with Lindy's lots of times. I love doing this with Lindy's. And I'm going to have... No, that's too dirty. Bit of paper towel here. Oop. Now, I probably will run out of room here, so I'm just going to pop this under here. And so I'm just using some white paint, white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to, hang on, I'm going to have to move. Okay. So I'm going to move. Sorry, girls, run out of a bit of space to do brayering on my stencil and off the stencil. And I'm nearly out of white paint. So you probably can't see this off screen right now, but I've got, actually, let me do this. Sorry, I'm trying to make it so you can see better. So this needs to be back the front because we're stamping with it. So I've got my white paint. And what I'm doing is, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water and I'm going to spritz it off the screen, and then I'm going to stamp onto my Oh man, did I do that back the front? Oh, I did. Oh well, doesn't matter. Let's just go with it. So I'm going to pop it down here. And I've got some white. I didn't really want that border, but that's okay. We'll just wipe that border off. Now, I'm going to do it the right way around for the next one. So let's wipe that off. And go the back side of it. Now I'm going to spray that off the screen again. So I'm spraying it because it's quite a thick acrylic paint. And then pressing it down and getting white paint all over my hands because I don't have enough room. And I'm just getting an impression there. I might even be able to get two. Yes, perfect. Love that. And then let's even see if I can get a third. Oh, yes. Okay, let's keep going. Last but not least, I've got a little bit more paint here. So I'll just chuck that on. And I'm not looking for anything perfect. I'm just looking for an impression. There we go. All right. So putting that aside, now I'm just going to get rid of that paint really quickly. And why I have a little bit of leftover white there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to splatter that. And then I'm going to pop that aside to do a little bit of drying by itself. I need a paintbrush. This one we'll just have to do because it's the only one I can see. And then I'm going to work on my focal points before we cut this up. Right, this is a really thick brush. Okay, let's start on the focal point now. And I'm using something a little bit different. And actually, it's very timely that Miss Claire has stepped in, because if you do Claire's classes and we're cutting out pages, we often have little bits of spare card from Claire's pages. Don't mind mine. It's been coloured in by a 5-year-old. So what I'm going to do, I'll start with one piece. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. So I'm going to grab this baby here. And these are going to be my focal point, because I figured that flowers can be vintage as well. So just grabbing not an acrylic block that doesn't quite fit. Now, so these are from the journals that we're using with Claire's classes. So I've kept those, and that's what I decided to use. So I'm going to use my embossing ink, and I've got some Lindy's Give Me 5 Gold. So I need to make sure I've got a spare piece of paper handy. I'm going to ink this up. Now don't do what I do and get Lindy's all over your things, because you double stamp. It's all right, still works. And I'm going to press down on that. Yeah, I agree, Susan. I look forward to the day I've been, we get to do that with Dina. How cool. Knowing my luck, it'll be at a time that I can't come, but I will move heaven and earth to try and get there, let me tell you. Now, I'm not going to do too many of these at the same time because as this is craft paper, it seems to suck up your liquid really quickly. So I'm going to get this, and I thought I'd go with gold because I thought that might be just something different to using black. Oh, this one clearly hasn't been used in a while. It's coming out in chunks. Nope. That's all right. This is a very, very fine powder, this one, so it can clump up in there. But look at all the detail that that's got. Perfect. All right. I'm getting better at using my embossing powder. Oh, yes, indeed. Claire's got to have that on her list coming to Australia. All right, I will do one more. I always have a rule. I need to make sure I put the lid on my embossing powder before I get the ink back out because I know what I'm like and I know I will tip one or the other. All right, so if I can get, yeah, I'll get a bigger one there. I'm not a massive fan of embossing, only because the powder annoys the crap out of me because I get it everywhere. But I love the effect. I absolutely love the effect. So I'm getting better at doing it more. And I'm not going to do a heap of these while you girls are here because it'll take me a month of Sundays to do them all. But I'm just going to do a few. And I'll finish them all off and show you later. But the point was to show you how I do my ATCs with a focal point, and I'll finish a couple for you. All right, that's cool. Now we'll heat set that, and then I'm going to colour those, and then they can go aside while I finish off the background. Okay, lid on embossing paper, powder, and we need our heat gun. So it's really important when you're using your embossing powder to make sure that your heat gun is already hot. So I'm just pointing mine down at the ground at the moment, and I always like to start underneath. And why I start underneath is that if you start on top, sometimes it can make, I can definitely feel the heat. You can also sometimes see, and this is quite thick card, but you can sometimes see it start melting underneath. I know you can't see that on screen, but you just slowly follow your image around the powder until you see it melt, basically. And it's very distinct when you see it melt. I won't bring it up to camera to do it because I'll probably burn myself. There we go. All right, so let's have a look at that. So pretty. Just waiting for the camera to catch up. And it's got a lovely shimmer to it. All right, so I'm not going to cut them out yet. I'm going to color these, and I'm using my black tie Stella paste. I do too, Susan. I miss it when I travel, so I totally get where you're coming from. And don't mind me, I'm just going over to my new cupboard because everything's not too close to me anymore. And just grabbing a couple of paintbrushes so I'm going to use this. This is the way I glitter, is by using this, because glitter to me is worse than embossing powder. So I'm just going to use my paintbrush and use it like a paint. And hopefully my idea works out. And it has. And I'm just going to get a bit of that into there. Now, I think I need to change my brush. It's too big. I'm not sure if you can see it. It probably looks like a bit of a hot mess. Let me see. So I want to actually keep, sorry, it's a bit hard to see on the camera. I actually want to keep the, I do want to keep the, what am I trying to say? The craft look of them. So that's why I thought it would be cool just to add some glitter and paint with the glitter over these bad boys. Now, if you haven't seen these Stella pastes, they're a bit of a stencil paste, but you can use them for different things. So if you didn't see me earlier before, I had some ATCs that I did. So this is Stella paste, and I've put that through a stencil. That's one of the pinky purple colours. I'm not sure which one that is, but they are pretty cool. I do like using them. But this is just a different way you can use it. Paint it on there. Gives it a bit of a shine. Bit of glitter. And I'm not being super pedantic with them at all. And then what I might do is grab a green paint and just paint a couple of these little leaves in. So I just do that really quickly. And I'm not doing all of it. I'm just doing the main 3 parts of that stamp. This is one of Nat's first stamps she bought out, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not a flowers person. I don't use a lot of flowers, but this one I do love. I am just adding a little bit of liquid to my brush, only because this is a stencil paste. So it can make you need to wash it off straight away because it will dry quickly. So I'm just keeping my brush a bit of water on it just so that it doesn't dry on my brush. All right. So these are going to be my focal point. I'm not going to do any more of that for you. All right. I'm going to grab out a green. What sort of green am I going to use? Let's have a look. No, I need like an olive, some sort of olive. Dina Wakely has an olive, doesn't she? What does she have? Umber. I thought she had an olive. Do I not have olive? Fir. All right, maybe we can use fir. Let's see how that looks. A little tiny bit of paint. Bit of water. Now, this is craft, so it is going to suck that up really quickly, but that's okay because, yeah, that's what I wanted. Because I only want to put a little dab in those leaves, some of which I'll probably cut off, but that's okay. The cool thing about embossing is that when you're using acrylic paint with it, you kind of can't go out of the lines. It's super duper easy to just, whoops. And as I said that, I went out of the lines. Ha! That's okay, because I'm going to cut that off anyway. All right. And that is that part done. Now I'm actually thinking I need a bit of colour in there. Now, I've got a bit of a vintage colour going on in my background, so I'm thinking I might need, I'm thinking I might put a deep bit of purple in there. Or maybe a red. Maybe fuchsia. So I'm just going to pop. I'm hoping this works. I just think that those flowers need a little bit of something else. And I don't want much paint. I just want a little pop of, oh, that's a lot. Let's see. All right, let's water that down a little bit more. That's better. Okay, and again, because I haven't, yeah, that's better. Okay, because I haven't, this is craft and I haven't gessoed it, it is soaking it up quite quickly, but that's okay because A, it's fast on the camera, but B, I just want to get a little bit of light colouring in because I've got that glitter there. I probably should have gone with my original plan to do black embossing powder, but I was trying to be different. There you go. So I'm just adding a hint of colour. Just a little hint. Onto there. And that's over the top of that glitter. And I can be really rough with it because it won't, whoa. That was a bit that I didn't have the water in. I can be really rough with it because I've got that embossing there and it kind of gives me a bit of an outline. All right. And this one down here didn't get any glitter on it, so it's just having that. All right, that's much better. I'm happy with that. See, sometimes ideas don't plan the way we go. I'm not redoing these flowers. I'm just going to make it work because that gold didn't quite work the way I envisaged it would. All right, so that looks better. Just got a little hint of fuchsia in there. So that looks cool. All right, popping that aside, let's get cutting. Let's have a look where we're at here. So here we go. That's nice and dry. I don't care that these numbers are back the front. Not a problem. It's just marks. So let's get the cutter out. And hopefully my blade's nice and sharp. If not, it'll look weird. All right, so now I'm just going to move my water jars out the way. Okay, that is better. Now, have I knocked my camera? Has it gone all wonky? Oh no, it's me that was wonky. All right, so I am going to trim off the edges here because you need a straight edge for ATCs. So just going to line that up. Don't want to cut too much off, just in case I've sold myself short because I didn't measure anything, because I don't measure anything. That's just how I roll. And it will probably come back and bite me in the butt one day. But here we are. All right. So we're going with 2.5, no, 3.5. So hang on a minute. Now, I've fallen for this trap before. Sometimes I just go, oh, yep, I can do 2.5 by 3.5. But if you've got words, this one doesn't. It doesn't really matter. So I want, if I cut them 3.5 across, it means they're going to be that way. So I kind of probably want to do 2.5 because there is a little bit of words on that. So I need to be mindful of where wording is. So I'm going 2.5 inches. Not sure if that's not straight or if that's just me. Yep, that blade's not sharp at all. Now, maybe if I go from the top. Yes, that's better. 2.5. And 2.5. Now, if I was doing a 10th one, I'll show you how I do a 10th one. So this is quite floppy. And it's just because I've got I've had so much liquid on there, but that's okay. It'll, so I'm going 3.5 here. Three and a half. And 3.5. Now these extra bits, if I didn't have enough, and I won't, I'll only get 9 out of this. But if I wanted to do a 10th, and as I said, Nat loves them, all I do is get another piece of paper that's this size, just a plain piece of paper, and stick these together and layer over the top. And that's how I often do my 10th one. You could even get 2 of these out of that bit there. So I'm not going to cut up the rest while I've got you guys. I'm going to start constructing my ATCs. So you just have to repeat this 9 times. And then all you also do is when you join an ATC group, you will get there'll be instructions and there'll be the ATC backing sheet, and you just cut one of these out and put it on the back of each ATC and put the title of what the round is, you put your name, you put the date, which is April or May 2024, and then you put one of, and if you do 9, you do 1 of 9. If you do 10, 1 of 10. And that's how you finish them off. All right, so these look pretty awesome, I have to say. Just ask me. That collage paper has just made it for me. But what I want to do is I do want to bring in a little bit more stamping. And I think I'm going to add some script, and I'm probably just going to go to my my fave, which is Nat's Don't Let You Down stamp, and I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping to these. So now they become little individuals. So you can add, oops, that's upside down. That's okay. I'm going to turn that upside down because it won't matter. See, don't do that. Oh, man. Okay. I'm with it now. Anyway, that's okay because half of it gets covered anyway. So I'm just adding a little bit so that these become their little individual. You can do them all exactly the same if that's how you choose. If you want to put a title on them, you can do that too. It's up to you. There is pretty much no rules on how you interpret it. The only rule that you need to keep is basically using one Natalie May product and making sure that you keep the size, because people put them into those, like, I call them mummy's Pokemon cards. So I'm just going to hit that with the heat gun so that ink dries. And then I'll start finishing it off and show you how this will come to life. Okay, so I've already seen that this one here has a lot of that stenciling in it, and this one has a little bit. So what I'm going to do is grab my Life of Colour pen, because that's the one I can reach, and I'm adding in a bit of white here. Now, the theme is vintage, but you don't have to write vintage on as a title. You can put whatever. I've used Tim Holtz Snarkies things, like if it requires pants or a bra, it's not happening today. You can use those little things. Nat's got a little quotes thing. You can use if you've got one of those Dymo tabs and make your own quote. You can handwrite on it if you like. So, and you don't even have to put a quote on there. That's totally up to you how you interpret. So I'm just really roughly going around that stenciling just to add a bit more interest and a few more marks. And I'm not doing like it. I'm not being careful. It's just literally random marks. This one has it on here as well, so I'm going to do that. I can only see a few, and that's going to have that. This one, nope, can't even see there, so that's fine. All right, so the other thing I like to do is either a border one way or the other, but let me get my focal point now, and I'm just going to cut out a little bit of one, so I've got enough for one. You think I can find anything tonight? And my heater's just kicked on right above my head. Oh, here they are. All right, so I'm not going to use the whole of the stamp. So what I'm just going to do, ooh, that is thick card. All right, just so that that's easier. So this one here is by itself, so I'm not cutting super close. I am leaving a bit of a border. Oh, sorry, Susan, I missed. What was one of your faves? What's the theme for these ATCs? So the theme for this month is vintage. So as I said, it's however you want to interpret it. Some people might not think that flowers are vintage, but I reckon that flowers stand the test of time. So it's however I nearly used Nats. I nearly did some bright. So, you know what I'm like with my brights. I nearly used the retro set from Nats, and I thought, well, they're kind of vintage as well. And actually, I've just decided I'm not keeping these stems on top of this flower because they suck to cut around. So, sorry, stems. All right. I'm just going to cut a couple of these just so I can pop them on and finish. So, yeah, it's just a guidance normally to... the themes are a guide to help you, it's like a starting point. And like when you get them all into your folder, I buy a little I'll grab my folder in a second, actually. I buy a little folder from Amazon, or you can get them anywhere, really. I think mine's a Pokemon one, but it's got no Pokemon on it. It's just green. But I just got it from Amazon, and I slip all the cards in from that month when I get them. And so that's going to go on there. It's not standing out like I want it to. Well, girls, what am I going to do here? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So let's switch it up. All right, I've changed my mind. This is how we do it. So I'm going to grab the other stamp from here. And I'm not going to re-emboss because, you know, that was just a whole lesson I just gave you on embossing. And I really don't want to get the powder back out again. So I'm going to use my other favourite, which is this one. And I'm going to stamp straight onto here with my black. And I love what I can do with this stamp. All right. So changing the plan, because, you know, that happens. And sometimes you don't like things that you do. Oh, yep. And I have to say, I'm almost 100% sure that I use this exact stamp on a rainbow one. And I had a rainbow background. So can use it for anything. So let's see how we're going to get this coloured. And yeah, if you don't have this stamp, honestly, you need it in your life. I hope Nat still has them because I'm telling people about them. All right, the other thing I do like to do with my ATCs is to give them a border. Now, let me just dry these because I don't want to rub them. Okay, so now I'm going to grab, and I think I'm going to go with, I'm just going to go with black. And I have one of these that I use for my black archival ink, and it never changes. Oh, yes, Nat's flower stamp. Yes, it is one of my faves. So because it's permanent ink, it's hard to get off things. So I just have this one sponge for my blending tool that is for my permanent inks, permanent black ink. The other thing sometimes if I don't want to ink around it is I just draw a border. You've all seen me do that before too, so that is easy to do, and it just finishes it off a little bit too. All right, so I will put probably some sort of little title on here, but let me show you what I'm going to do with these flowers to finish them off. I'm grabbing my Art by Marlene paints because they're the only paints you can do this with. And I need my white lace. And because we're sticking with the vintage theme, I think I might go with a gold out of the special ones. And I can find the special ones right here. Okay. So out of the special set, I'll go with gold plated. And I absolutely love doing this. Now, this is a final step because except for my word I'll put on afterwards, and it'll just be a short little word. I'm not sure what I'll use. Probably something from the Snarky set of words, Tim Holtz Snarky. But this needs to sit and dry naturally once I do this step. Okay, so let me zoom down a little. All right, I've just got to wait for the camera to catch up. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just, whoops, look, I've already ruined it. Just joking. So I'm using the white as my base. Now, the Art by Marlene paints dry puffy. If you leave them puffy, they will dry puffy. And that's what I like about that for this. And I've used it probably 1,000 times on this stamp with this exact technique. And it's not, I don't know if it's a technique, but it's just something I do. And they're super duper easy. This is a new one, so it is flowing nicely. And I know Nat's got more Art by Marlene paints coming in. Now, how cool does that look? It already pops that off the page. And then I'll be adding a white label as well. Now, all I'm doing now with my gold plate, and you could do yellow, you could do red. I've done yellow, red, I've done rainbow colors, but all I'm doing is adding one little tiny blob into the middle of each of those. And because it's wet, it almost will dry with like a gold pimple on top of those flowers. I will bring it up to screen because, oh, hello, Linda Pearson. I know, it's been a while, hasn't it? Life got in the way, my friend. I said to my husband, I need to do a live because I'm probably not going to feel like doing a live. Well, next week's Mother's Day, and the week after that is, oh no, I won't be doing one Mother's Day. And the week after that, I'll be just getting home from the retreat. So, all right, let me bring that up and show you. I'm just waiting for the camera to catch up. Now, if I tip that onto the side, you can see, hopefully, let me see if you can see it. You can see the dimension. No. Sorry, there's a delay. So it does dry puffed up. It does have dimension, hard to show on the camera, but it does dry puffed up. So that is all I'm going to do with those. And yeah, unfortunately, this one just didn't work for me. I should have used black. Black embossing paddle would have worked. So I'll do that next time I think about that. I'll use those for something else because they are still pretty. And they are quite cute. And that glitter Stella paste, using the Stella paste as a bit of a paint to add some glitter, worked well. It's just that colour, it didn't make the flowers stand up enough with that background. So thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Treat yourself to some extra goodies because no doubt there's going to be something special next week leading into Mother's Day, and it's Nat's birthday next week, so I dare say there'll be something special happening. And make sure you check out the new Create for a Cause range. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, really, Claire? There you go. Well, I'm glad that I've taught you something. So, yeah, check out the Create a Cause release that came out. Nat, the beautiful soul, touched my heart with that. So, yeah, Susan, I'm with you, hun. And I think Tegan may be even beating that amount. So if you are ordering and not going to the retreat, have fun doing that and treat yourself for Mother's Day. So, until then, thank you for watching, and thank you again for supporting me and Nellie Mae Scrapbooking. So night, ladies.